10 toxic money beliefs and where they actually came from. Nobody sits down one day and decides to be bad with money. Nobody consciously chooses to avoid their bank balance, to feel sick before a salary negotiation, to spend money they do not have on things they do not need, to feel better about money they do not have. The decisions that hurt us financially are almost never decisions. They are beliefs. Beliefs so old and so baked in that they do not feel like beliefs at all. They feel like facts, like just the way things are. The problem with a belief you cannot see is that you cannot question it, and a belief you cannot question will quietly run your financial life whether you like it or not. Today we are going to name 10 of the most common ones, and I want to be clear from the start, you did not choose these. They came from somewhere, your family, your culture, the messages you absorbed growing up, but they are costing you money right now, so let's look at them. Belief 1. I'm just not good with money. This is the one that bothers me most because it sounds like self-awareness, but it is actually a closing of a door. I'm just not a numbers person. Money stuff isn't really my thing. My partner handles all of that. Here is what it is really saying. I tried to understand this. It felt hard or embarrassing, and I have decided that my difficulty is a permanent personality trait, rather than a temporary gap in knowledge. Nobody says I'm just not good at driving and uses it as a reason to never learn. Money skills are learnable. They are not innate. The people who seem naturally good with money mostly just learned earlier or had someone show them. Calling yourself bad with money is not honest self-assessment. It is permission to stop trying, and it is one of the most expensive stories you can tell yourself. Belief 2. Debt is shameful. Shame and debt is a devastating combination because shame makes you hide things. And hidden debt does not get managed. It grows. There is debt that is a sign something went wrong. High-interest credit cards, payday loans, borrowing to cover basics. That debt deserves honest attention, not shame. And then there is debt that is a tool. Mortgages, student loans, business borrowing at sensible rates. Treating all debt as moral failure means you either avoid the second kind, which can build wealth, or you cannot face the first kind, which quietly ruins it. The families that taught you debt was shameful were probably trying to protect you from the predatory kind. But the lesson got generalized, and now you flinch at the word even when the debt is working for you. Belief 3. Talking about money is rude. This one is very British, and it has real consequences. We do not ask what people earn. We do not tell people what we paid for our house. We change the subject when money comes up in a way that might reveal actual numbers. Meanwhile, the people who are building wealth are talking about it constantly. To accountants, to financial advisors, to other people in their industry who know exactly what the market rate is. The silence is not politeness. It is ignorance, voluntarily maintained. If you have never asked a colleague in a similar role what they earn, you almost certainly do not know your own market value. That silence has probably cost you money in every salary conversation you have ever had. Belief 4. More money would solve everything. This belief sounds like optimism, but it operates like avoidance. Once I earn a bit more, I'll get on top of it. When the pay rise comes through, I'll start saving. Things will be easier when the mortgage is paid off. The data on this is pretty clear. People who are disorganised with money at £30,000 are usually disorganised with money at £60,000. The number changes. The habits do not change themselves. More money is genuinely better than less money. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But more money given to a person with the same beliefs and the same habits mostly just produces bigger versions of the same problems. The belief that the number is the issue keeps you from looking at the actual issue. Belief 5. You have to be rich to invest. Investing feels to a lot of people like something that happens after you have sorted everything else out. Like a reward for financial maturity, available once you have a proper amount to put in. This is completely backwards. The people who become wealthy mostly do not invest because they got rich. They got rich partly because they started investing early with whatever they had. Compound growth needs time more than it needs a large starting amount. Starting with £50 a month at 25 will outperform starting with £500 a month at 45. The belief that you need to be in a financially comfortable place before investing is one of the main reasons people never get to that financially comfortable place. Belief 6. Wanting money is greedy. This one runs deep, and it is often dressed up in spiritual or ethical language that makes it very hard to challenge. Money isn't everything. I just want enough. I'm not motivated by money. Sometimes that is genuinely true. More often, it is a preemptive defense against wanting something and not getting it. If you never admitted you wanted it, you cannot be seen to have failed at getting it. Here is the thing about money. It is a tool. Wanting more of a tool is not greedy. It depends entirely on what you plan to build with it. Wanting money so you can stop worrying about rent, support your family, leave a bad job, or retire without panic is not greed. Calling it greed is just a way of avoiding the discomfort of admitting you want something and going after it. Belief 7. If I ignore it, it will sort itself out. This is the belief of the head-in-the-sand avoider, and I say that with complete sympathy because I have been that person. There is a very specific kind of financial paralysis where you know things need attention and the knowing makes it worse, so you just do not look. The problem is that almost nothing in personal finance sorts itself out. Debt compounds, pension gaps widen. Direct debits for things you stopped using keep leaving your account. The avoidance that feels like relief in the short term is creating a bigger, messier problem that will need more energy to fix later. The only thing that actually helps is looking, not fixing everything at once, just looking. Most people find it is less bad than they feared. Some find it is exactly as bad as they feared. Either way, they are now in a position to do something about it. Belief 8. Other people are better at this than me. This is imposter syndrome applied to money, and it is everywhere. The assumption that other people, your colleagues, your friends, the people who seem confident in meetings, have some kind of financial clarity you lack. Most of them do not. The research on this is genuinely surprising. Large numbers of high earners have almost no savings, significant debt they have not properly counted, and pension situations they have never examined. The confidence is often performance. The competence is often borrowed. They are also figuring it out as they go. The difference is that some people have decided their confusion is temporary and fixable. Others have decided theirs is permanent and personal. That decision, not the actual knowledge gap, is what separates them. Belief 9. I deserve this treat. I work hard. This one is tricky because it is not entirely wrong. You do work hard. You do deserve good things. Rest, enjoyment, spending on what matters. These are not financial sins. The toxic version of this belief is when it becomes a get-out-of-jail-free card for any spending decision. When every difficult week justifies a purchase you had not planned. When the emotional logic of "I earned this" overrides the financial logic of "Can I actually afford this right now?" The belief quietly reframes every impulsive spend as a reward and every budget as a punishment, which means the budget always loses. Enjoying your money is fine. Using the fact that you work hard as a reason to never examine how you spend it is where it starts costing you. Belief 10. It's too late for me to change this. Saving this one for last because it is the one that closes the door on everything else. I should have started a pension earlier. I'm too old to learn about investing. The damage is already done. It is almost never too late. That is not motivational fluff. It is mathematics. A 50-year-old who starts making better financial decisions today has potentially 15 or 20 years of compounding ahead of them. That is not the same as starting at 25, but it is not nothing. It is, in fact, a lot. The too late belief is the most dangerous one because it is self-sealing. Once you believe it, there is no action that can disprove it because you have already decided not to take any action. It is not a conclusion. It is a way of not having to start. Here is what I want you to take away from this. Beliefs are not facts. They feel like facts, especially the ones you have had since childhood. But a belief is just a story you stopped questioning. And if you have a belief that should have been on this list, something you have had to unlearn yourself, drop it in the comments.